Hey guys, welcome to Huddle Adventures. Laura and I are constantly getting asked by our friends and family, how do you go about planning a cruise? People keep telling us that they've never gone on a cruise and they've considered going on a cruise, but they just don't know where to start. Part of the reason we started vlogging was to share our love of cruising with our friends and family, hoping to encourage them to go cruising as well. So today I'm going to answer that question, how to plan your first cruise. Okay, the first thing you need to do, guys, you need to determine your maximum vacation budget. Basically, how much are you willing to spend? That's the starting point for most things we do in life. You need to know how much you're willing to spend, the maximum amount you're willing to spend, and then try your best to stay within that. Two would be the destination and when you want to go. And both of those play hand in hand. Certain cruises are only offered certain times of the year. If you're just interested in getting on a cruise ship and going anywhere tropical, that opens up all kinds of options to you. If you're interested in going to Alaska specifically, you're going to have to do a little research and find out when the best time is to go to Alaska. We have an Alaska cruise scheduled for May of 2023. So that is when we decided to go to Alaska. So again, if you guys follow us on Cruise Shipmates, you can see all of our cruises. And if you want to go to Alaska and you want to go when we go, book it. Okay, but you can't go to Alaska in December, right? So you have to be familiar with where you're going and pick the best time of year to go. And also know that cruises cruise during hurricane season. They're adept at dodging hurricanes and rerouting. That's why whenever you sign up for a cruise, you agree that the cruise line can change your itinerary if they need to for whatever reason. So that's part of the deal with cruising. Okay, and then the next one would be number 3 would be the length of the cruise. How long do you want to cruise for? Again, that goes back to number 1 and your budget. Do you want to cruise for 3 days? Do you want to cruise for 21 days? Most cruises are between 3 and 7 days. And obviously, the longer you go, the more expensive it tends to be. And depending on the port you sail out of and where you're going, that factors in. The time of year, that factors in as well. So the next one would be selecting a cruise line. A lot of people have an idea of which cruise line they would pick if they're going to go on a cruise. Some people are pretty flexible and open. Some people are just confused by all the options. They don't know who to choose, where to go. My first cruise was very easy, guys. Laura and I had started dating, and then when we got married, we went on a cruise in 2017, and she had cruised with Carnival or Royal Caribbean several times, like 7 times prior. And so we went with what she was familiar with. We went to Royal Caribbean. She had, a customer loyalty account with them, and so that's what we did. The second cruise, for me, was Royal Caribbean again in 2019. And in 2020, we're going to branch out and try something new. So we selected Carnival, but then of course COVID came. Now, as far as the cruise line you select, you have to look, are you a solo cruiser, cruising by yourself? Are you a couple cruising, just the two of you? You want an adult-only cruise? Are you taking your kids on a cruise with you? Is it a big family cruise? Carnival, Royal, MSC, and Disney are probably the most family-oriented cruise lines. They're all good at entertaining, keeping the kids entertained. Many of them have daycare on board, activities for each individual age group that keeps the kids occupied all day, so you can go and do things, more adult-oriented things. Other cruise lines like the new Virgin Cruise Line, Celebrity, sometimes Norwegian Princess, those tend to be better suited for couples and adults, but they're all good. You're not gonna have a bad time on any of these cruise lines. You also want to factor in what you like to do and what the cruise lines are good at. And right now, our favorite cruise lines are Royal and Carnival. Those are the only 2 we've been on. We do have 2 cruises booked with Norwegian. You're going to have to wait to January 23 to get our opinion on Norwegian, because that's our first cruise with them. We're doing a vlogger group cruise. It's called the Vlogger Extravaganza, January 29th. It's a Western Caribbean out of New Orleans, and it's going to have a bunch of the big vlogging channels that cover cruising on that one. Feel free to book that one too. Us and our little channel, we're going to be there. Okay, 5, selecting an embarkation port. That's a fancy name for the port you sail out of. Cruise lines sail out of multiple ports, guys. They sail out, Miami's the biggest one. That's the most common one, and the airport's close to that one, so that makes it the traveling from the airport to the cruise port easy. But they sail out of New Orleans, Charleston, South Carolina, Jacksonville, Florida, Tampa, Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Orlando. Believe it or not, you fly into Orlando, and it's Cape Canaveral is where they actually sail out of. There's others: Baltimore, New York, Long Beach, California, Seattle, Washington. These are all different. Galveston, Texas. We have cruises out of all these different places, guys, because we factor in the port city when we pick our cruises too. If you see a cruise and it says Western Caribbean, the itinerary isn't going to be the same as another cruise doing Western Caribbean, or the same cruise line doing Western Caribbean out of a different port. There's so many different countries in the Caribbean. You could stop at, you could do 3 Western Caribbean ports and maybe only hit the same stop 2 or 3 times. And it's usually Cozumel, because that's a real popular one, and most Western Caribbeans include that one. Okay, and you also got to factor in when you pick your port, how am I going to get there? If you live in the South and you live close to Florida, or live in Florida and you plan on driving, then you probably don't want to go out of South Carolina or out of New Orleans or out of Galveston, Texas. You want to stay local so you can drive. That's cool. But if you're willing, if you're like me and Laura, we live in Michigan, we got to fly to anywhere we want to go. We got to fly. Okay, so we have to factor in airfare into the cost of our vacation. If you don't have to do that, then all you have to factor in is your gas mileage if you're driving, and parking. How much is parking going to cost you for the week? Make sure you check into that, guys, because parking can be very, very pricey. You could spend $30, $40 a day parking and get back off your cruise ship after 7 days and owe $300. So be ready for that. You have to factor in everything. When I say everything, I mean everything, including tipping. Everybody, tipping on the cruise ship, tipping when you're out to eat prior to going to the cruise, all that. Factor in all that in your budget, guys. Selecting your ship. Believe it or not, selecting your ship is probably just as important as picking your cruise line, or more so. Okay, for instance, Carnival has like 26, 27 ships. I don't even know the exact number. And all the ships are not created equal, guys. They're all different sizes. They offer different amenities. They are just different experiences, different sizes. You might not be very active and mobile, and you don't want to be walking on a giant ship all over the place. You want to be on a more intimate, smaller ship. Of course, you won't know until you go and sail. So I always recommend starting with a medium to big size ship and then go from there. That way you can get a taste of right in between. And then also know that you'll see some of these great deals like Carnival and Royal will run, and it'll be, oh my goodness, they're paying me to go on the cruise. And it's usually a very small, very old ship, and they're not going to be as nice and have as many amenities as the newer, bigger ships, and they don't cost as much to operate because they're smaller and they have fewer amenities. So that's why they can offer you these killer deals on these certain ships, because they are more cost effective for them to maintain and run. So with that said, I recommend, what we always do is we pick a port city, then we look at what cruises are going out of that port, then we look at when's the best time for us to go on that cruise. And it's all predicated by our vacation time, guys. When can we squeeze this one in? And then if we notice the price is really high, then we'll be like, whoa, that's not the best time to go on that one. So We like to choose the port city, and then we like to research the ships that sail out of there before we make our final decision. So we always do a YouTube search on the cruise ship, so we can do a vlog review of the ship. So we'll type in, for instance, Carnival Magic Review into YouTube and look. If you're not into doing YouTube, which you should do YouTube, and you should follow us on YouTube and subscribe, then you should do Google. Do Google, do both. Do your research on your ship. Make sure that the ship is getting good reviews and that it sounds like something you would like. No different than if you're going to a hotel, guys. If you're going to a hotel, I hope you're doing that. You're doing Google searches and YouTube searches. Make sure you're not staying at the Bates Hotel. Don't want that to happen to you guys. Okay, so the next thing is the travel from your home to the travel port city, the embarkation city. It may be tempting to try to fly in or drive in the day of your cruise and save a little bit of money, right? I understand. We tried that. My first 2 cruises, we did that. Never again. Never again. It's too much, guys. Imagine you walk through a giant airport. Metro Detroit Airport's a big airport. Then we fly to Miami International Airport. We walk through that airport. It's a big airport. Then we get on a shuttle bus, and then we go to the cruise terminal. Then we walk all the way through the cruise terminal and get through that whole rigmarole and checked in on the ship. By the time we were on the ship, we were already exhausted. All of us were exhausted, both cruises, okay? And it's just not, oh, well, man, Eddie, you're a 52-year-old man. No, guys, it's not that. Trust me. We had my daughter with us on both of those. One of our kids was with us on both cruises. On the first cruise, they were all with us, and they were from young to old, and they were all worn out. So that's an issue, being tired on cruise day. You do not want to be tired on cruise day. More importantly, you don't want the stress that comes with trying to do it all in one day. It's not worth it, guys. Get to the port city a minimum 1 night before. Book a nice hotel near the port. Wake up in the morning, have yourself a nice breakfast, relaxing morning. Take your time getting to cruise port. Board that ship after a good night's rest, after a nice breakfast, and you're gonna thank me. You're gonna say, Eddie, man, you're right. It was worth the money. So do that. Save yourself the aggravation, because anything can happen. You can get a flat tire, your car could get break down, you could get in a car accident on your way to the port city, your plane could get delayed. That happens constantly. If you are trying to fly in and you have any kind of layover connecting flight, don't even attempt to do it day of. Do the red eye, get there at 2 in the morning or something, because if you're delayed, you still might have a chance of making your cruise. I don't recommend doing that, guys. Okay, 8. Make a packing list. Make sure you take enough clothes for your cruise. Laura and I take enough clothes for 2 cruises. Don't do that unless you work out, can carry around heavy suitcases and pay extra for your luggage to go through. Don't overpack, but make sure you're packing enough clothes. And what you need to do is you need to get familiar with your cruise that you're going on, the cruise line, what their onboard activities are, what the itinerary is, what the climate is like in those places you're going. Is it the rainy season? Is it not? Is it really hot there? Is it cold there? Whatever it might be, make sure you pack the right clothes for the itinerary. Make sure that you are familiar with what they're doing on board as far as the formal nights. They call them formal nights. Don't picture tuxedos. It's like dress shirts, guys with ties. Some guys wear suits. Women wear dresses, but they're not wearing ball gowns for the most part. But Carnival calls it elegant night. On cruises 7 days or more, they have 2 elegant nights. It's usually the 2nd night and the 6th night. I can't remember what Royal does, but all of those cruise lines post that information on their websites, guys. A lot of your questions can be answered by going on their website, okay? So make sure you don't want to get on a cruise and get turned away at the dining room because you're there, you didn't pack a nice outfit. So know that. And also know that that's also optional on every cruise. You do not have to participate in elegant night, right? You can go eat at a specialty dining restaurant, and almost every cruise ship has what they call cruise casual in their dining facilities, and that just means you can't wear tank tops or bathing suits. You have to wear, short sleeve shirts like polo shirts or a t-shirt. You can wear shorts. There's no rules against shorts or sandals or anything like that, but you can't go in there, wearing a tank top or, with your shirt off or something like that. And what you want to do is make a packing list. All right, guys, you want to make sure that everything you can think of is on that list. Like for your excursion, take water shoes. You want to take, flip-flops or slides. You're going to want to take, extra shoes. Take some shoes that are comfortable, like athletic shoes for doing any kind of activity. Like if you're going to participate in any of the onboard activities, the sports and recreation activities, you're gonna need shoes. Tennis shoes or athletic shoes. Bring all your over-the-counter medicine you normally use at home. Like you're going to get heartburn, you might get a hangover, you might have aches and pains because you're walking more than you're used to. You might just get a headache. Who knows? You don't want to have to buy that stuff on the ship. They sell that stuff on the ship, but it's really expensive. So make sure you bring that stuff. Bring your heartburn medicine and all that kind of stuff. Do not forget your prescription medication at home. Bring Band-Aids and like a basic first aid kit. Just in case you get a little cut, you get a blister, whatever. That's another reason why you want to bring multiple pairs of shoes, because if you get blisters on your feet from walking, say you take on a little more than you usually do, you want to be prepared for that. Keep in mind, you guys that don't travel or haven't been flying or never flew before, your carry-on luggage, you're limited to 3 ounces and less of liquid items. So you cannot take like a 6-ounce bottle of, shampoo or body lotion. And make sure you take body lotion, because cruise ships don't all provide it like they do at hotels. So you get dry skin, you want to deal with that. And when you're out in the sun, your skin gets dried out pretty quick. And with that said, sunblock. Bring the strongest sunblock you can find if you're going into the Caribbean. That's a different kind of sun down there, guys, and it will burn you up. So make sure you bring sunblock. All right, number 9, your passport, enhanced driver's license, birth certificates, all your boarding documents, everything that your cruise line sends you, everything that you can print off of their website, everything you paid for your excursions, everything you have, print all of it. Put it in a folder, put it in your carry-on. Do not put it in your suitcase. You do not want to get separated from those documents. And here's what I'm going to tell you, because you guys are going, but I got that on my phone. Your phone can get stolen. Your phone can get lost. Your phone can break. Do you want to be sitting at the cruise terminal and have a dead phone or no phone and not have anything to show these people? Print your documents. No excuse, guys. Print your documents, take your documents, keep your documents with you. And I will touch on this. If you're sailing from a U.S. port and returning to the same U.S. port or to another U.S. port, you don't need a passport. It's nice to have a passport. It's less hassle. It's one little booklet you have. And you're going to need your vaccine card. I forgot to mention that. Keep that all together. Amazon, I'm not affiliated with Amazon. We're not affiliated with Amazon. But they have a little leather-bound booklet you can buy that you open it up. One side holds your passport. The other side is a laminated slot that you put your vaccine card in. It's great. I think they're around $8, $10 a piece. Get you one of them, and that's great. We used it on our last cruise. It's awesome. It's one of our favorite things I bought for the cruise. So do not put your stuff in the suitcase, and do not trust your phone to be the key to everything, because you will regret it. You will regret it, guys. Okay, and then I will leave you with number 10, and number 10 is travel insurance. I've heard this over and over again. Guys will plan, people will plan their vacation out. $3,500, $4,000, $5,000. They'll factor all that in, and they'll be willing to spend every dime of it. But they won't spend $200, $300 on travel insurance to protect that investment. Guys, it's foolish. Get yourself travel insurance. Do not buy it from the cruise line. Do not buy it from the airline. buy it from an outside insurance company. One that we have used, we use a company called Tinleg, Tinleg, for our cruise on the Magic. And on this past cruise, the cruise we're going on in 27 days, the Panorama, we use Alliance with a Z at the end. Alliance with the Z, Allianz. We booked our, we paid, our insurance was $245, and I insured our trip for $3,500. So it's actually a little on the light side, because when it's all said and done, I'm going to spend a little more than that. But I did get insurance on our hotel room in Long Beach. So what we're doing is we're flying in the day before to Los Angeles International Airport. We are going to take a shuttle, a Uber, a taxi, I don't know what, to the Hilton Long Beach, and we're going to stay the night there, and then we're going to take their shuttle, Hilton shuttle, to the cruise port in the morning. That's how we're going to travel. So I paid, I think, an extra $5 or $10 to ensure cancellation of our hotel room if something comes up and we have to cancel. So with that said, guys, those are my 10 tips if you're trying to plan a cruise. I will add to the budget, and some of you guys might, most of you probably know this, some of you might not know it, there are casinos on the cruise ships. Every cruise ship that I'm aware of has a casino. If you're a casino gamer, you're going to want to budget casino gambling money into the budget as well. Add that in there. And if the night that you go into the port city, if you're going to make that a part of your vacation, you want to budget in, your meals and your drinks for that night as well too. And the reason I say to budget it is a lot of people have remorse after vacation, after they get done, when they end up spending more than they planned. And that's easy to avoid if you just simply are honest and thoughtful in your budget planning. Then you'll be in for no shocks or surprises. Cruising is very affordable. It's one of the most affordable vacations you can ever take. You get to go to multiple countries in a week span. It's like staying on one of the best hotels, all-included resorts, and every morning you wake up, you're somewhere different. Okay, so it is just incredible. Most of the people on cruise ships are super happy, friendly. It's a very, very lively environment. It's hard to explain. Most people that are against cruises have never been on one, so keep that in mind. Cruising takes a big hard knock from the anti-cruising community out there, and it's undeserved. As far as post-COVID cruising, you're not going to find a safer COVID environment than you will on a cruise ship, simply because the cruise ship COVID protocols are so much more strict than anything on land. I can use Carnival for an example. Carnival requires you to be vaccinated, okay, and to have a COVID test 48 hours prior to sailing, 2 days prior to sailing. You have to pass a COVID test, have a negative test result, have your vaccine card in order to board the ship. They say it's 95% vaccinated. You can get a COVID exemption, vaccine exemption, for children 12 and under. And in some very rare cases, people that have medical restrictions and things that will prohibit them from getting the vaccine, they are allowed. But to the best of my knowledge, those are very, very rare. It's kids 12 and under. Right now, the ships are sailing around 60% capacity on average. Carnival ships are, and there's not that many kids on the ships. There's not a lot of lines. This is a great time to start cruising for the first time, because the ships aren't at full capacity. When the ships are at full capacity, there's more lines, there's more waiting. It's still a great time, but when there's 60% capacity, guys, there's no waiting for anything. It's a great experience. So once again, I want to thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. I hope it helps you. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. We would really appreciate it if you would subscribe and hit the like button. I have some big plans for our vlogging of the Panorama. the Magic was my first attempt at vlogging, and you know, I was a little uncomfortable going around with the big camera, and it took me a few days to get over that. I feel a lot more confident. I've picked up some more equipment since then. I've added a GoPro 9 to the package. I'm picking up a different lens for my Canon EOS M50 camera that will work out a little better for vlogging. And I also have the DJI Pocket 2 gimbal camera that I plan to use as well. And most of the videos that you've seen here have been filmed with my iPhone Pro Max 12, and it does a decent job, but it's not the quality that I want us to have here, and we're working at getting better all the time. So we will talk to you soon. I'll be checking in. I plan on touching base with you guys a couple more times before we go on our cruise. And hey, have a great day. Bye.